Daniel. Faith in the flames of lions. In the days when the empire of Babylon ruled vast lands and peoples, there lived a young man named Daniel. Taken from his homeland of Judah in his youth, Daniel had grown in wisdom, knowledge, and favor with God. Though he lived in a foreign kingdom far from the temple and the land of his fathers, his heart never strayed from his devotion to the Lord. King Nebuchadnezzar had once tried to re-educate Daniel and his friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, with the customs of Babylon. But Daniel stood firm, refusing to defile himself with the king's food or wine. And when he interpreted the king's troubling dreams, all of Babylon knew that God was with him. Years passed.
Kingdoms changed.
The mighty Medes and Persians swept through Babylon, and a new king sat upon the throne, Darius the Mede. Yet Daniel, now an old man, still served with integrity. His reputation for honesty and wisdom was unmatched, and King Darius made plans to set him over the entire empire. This stirred jealousy among the other governors and officials. They watched Daniel carefully, hoping to catch him in corruption or error, but they found nothing. He was faithful in all things. The only way to trap him, they reasoned, was through his faith. So they conspired. They approached King Darius, with flattery on their tongues. "O king, live forever," they said, bowing low. "All the royal administrators and officials have agreed that you should issue a decree that for the next 30 days, no one may pray to any god or man except to you, O king. And if anyone disobeys, let them be thrown into the den of lions." The king, flattered and unaware of their true intent, signed the decree. According to the laws of the Medes and Persians, no written law could be changed once it was sealed. Daniel heard of the decree, but he did not hesitate. As he had always done, he went to his upper room, opened the windows toward Jerusalem, and knelt to pray 3 times a day, giving thanks to God. The conspirators were watching. They burst into his home and caught him on his knees. With triumphant smiles, they rushed to the king. "O king, didn't you sign a decree that no one may pray to any god or man except you for 30 days? "I did," said Darius. "Well then," they said, "Daniel, who is from Judah, ignores your decree. He still prays to his God 3 times a day." The king was distressed. He had not realized the decree was aimed at Daniel. All day he tried to find a way to save him, but the law could not be undone. At sunset, the officials returned. "O king, you know the law. It cannot be changed." Reluctantly, with a heavy heart, King Darius gave the order. Daniel was brought to the mouth of the lion's den. The king said to him, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Then Daniel was lowered into the den. A stone was rolled across the entrance, and it was sealed with the king's own ring. That night, Darius could not sleep. He refused food. No music was played. His mind was tormented. At dawn, as the first light crept into the sky, Darius rose and hurried to the lion's den. His voice echoed through the rocks. "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God rescued you from the lions?" There was a pause. Then a voice answered, steady and strong. "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not harmed me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever wronged you, O king." A shout of joy escaped the king's lips. "Lift him out," he commanded. Daniel was pulled from the den, and not a scratch was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. The king turned to the conspirators who had plotted against Daniel. "Throw them into the den," he said, "along with their families." Before they even reached the floor of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed their bones. Then King Darius wrote to all the peoples and nations of the earth, "May you prosper greatly. I decree that in every part of my kingdom people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed. He rescues and saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions." And so Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and into the days of Cyrus the Persian. He remained a symbol of courage, obedience, and unwavering faith for generations to come. That morning, as Daniel stood in the cool breeze of the dawn, his garments still intact and the faint scent of lion musk on his robe, the air carried a sacred stillness. The guards, who only hours before had sealed him in the pit of death, now bowed their heads in awe. Daniel looked upward, his eyes not on the crowd, but fixed toward the heavens. His lips moved silently in prayer, not of desperation this time, but of praise. For all the days of his life, Daniel had trusted that the God of his fathers was present, not only in the Temple of Jerusalem, not only in the sacred scrolls, but here in this foreign land, in this pit of danger, in this moment of trial. The story of his deliverance spread like wildfire. From the palace walls to the outer gates, from the market square to the distant provinces, the people whispered, "The lions did not touch him. The living God sent an angel." In the days that followed, King Darius summoned Daniel to his chambers. "I have ruled over many lands," the king confessed, "but never have I seen a man so loyal to his God, and a God so loyal to his servant." Daniel bowed humbly. "My king," he said, "the Lord does not save with spear or sword, nor does he show favor because of might. He searches hearts, and he rewards those who walk in truth." The king sat in silence for a moment, then stood and placed his royal ring back on Daniel's finger, the same finger used to seal the stone over the lion's den. This time, it was not a seal of death, but of authority. "You will be my most trusted advisor," Darius declared, "for any man who walks with his God like this must also walk with wisdom." Though Daniel was advanced in years, his steps were steady. His voice, once the quiet prayers of a young exile, now echoed through the royal courts with boldness. And yet, he never sought power for himself. He rose early each day, opened his window toward Jerusalem, and prayed just as he had in his youth, faithfully, humbly, without fanfare. But not all hearts in the kingdom rejoiced. In the shadows of the royal court, new whispers began to stir. The descendants of the conspirators who had perished in the lion's den carried a deep hatred for Daniel. They dared not move against him while Darius ruled, but their hearts plotted and waited. Years passed, and Darius died. A new king rose, Cyrus of Persia. Daniel, though aged and gray, still served with excellence. His mind remained sharp, his counsel trusted, but Cyrus was unfamiliar with the true power of the God of Israel. He listened to magicians, diviners, and foreign seers who often clashed with Daniel's words. One night, the king had a troubling dream, one of fire and rivers, of beasts and shifting kingdoms. None of his seers could interpret it. At last, someone remembered Daniel and summoned him from retirement. Cyrus looked him over skeptically. "You are the one they say survived the lions?" "I am Daniel," he replied simply. "Then speak to me of dreams and kingdoms. What does this vision mean?" Daniel listened. He closed his eyes, and as he did, a great peace fell over the room. The Spirit of God stirred within him. "O king," Daniel began, "your dream is not of this world. The beasts represent kingdoms to come, each fierce, each rising and falling. But in the end, there shall be a kingdom not made by human hands, a kingdom everlasting, a kingdom ruled by the Ancient of Days." The king sat stunned, and in that moment, Daniel's voice became like thunder, low but full of authority. "You, O king, are but a vessel in the river of time, but the Lord God directs the current. He uproots kings and establishes thrones, not for man's glory, but for his own." The fire in Daniel's eyes could not be denied. Cyrus, moved and deeply affected, rose and declared, "Let it be known throughout the land, Daniel is my prophet and my counselor. His God is to be honored among the gods." And so Daniel lived out his days, respected not only as a wise man, but as a witness. He documented dreams and visions that would echo across generations. He spoke of beasts and horns, of distant empires, and the coming of a Messiah. He foresaw wars and times of peace. He wept for his people and interceded for his nation. Still, In his final years, Daniel remained unchanged in spirit. He did not grow proud with the favor of kings. He did not retreat into bitterness from the betrayals of men. His gaze was fixed on eternity. Often he would walk to a quiet place beyond the city, where the noise of the court could not reach him. There, he would kneel beneath the stars and pray. His lips would whisper names, Abraham, Moses, David, and then fall silent in awe before the name of the Lord. He did not see the rebuilding of the temple. He did not live to walk again on the streets of Jerusalem. But he saw something far greater, a vision of God's eternal plan unfolding. And this is the legacy of Daniel. He was not a warrior, yet he overcame kings. He held no sword, yet he silenced lions. He wore no crown, yet he moved empires. Because he believed, not in the power of man, but in the power of God. And generations later, his name would still be spoken, not in fear, but in faith.